Mixed Media Movies.
All right, welcome back to Mixed Media Live. Well, we're live right now, and we just did a fantastic segment on Light of My World. You can see it's still there on our layout. You can check out a link to that at our channel. Go visit it. Ben reviews a wonderful piece. I think everyone here enjoyed it, and you should definitely go check that out if you're interested at all in composition. It's a little bit different in that it's more of a performance-centered piece, if I said that correct, Ben.
That's a good way of phrasing it.
Yeah. But this segment, I've got to react to your hot takes. Well, not your specific hot takes, but if you want to send any hot takes our way about gaming, film, or whatever, you can go to our Discord. Link is in the description, and drop anywhere you want any hot take, and we'll save it for the next week, and we'll definitely react to it. So just join our Discord, drop a hot take, and we'll certainly react to it every week. So let's get to our arguing with Reddit stage here. Let's see. There we go. Now, I have not seen any of these pretty much. So I'm just going to pick one of these at random. These are all from Reddit, and random link. Here we go. Let's see what this is. So, whose is this? Official discussion. Oh, okay. This one I think is from Producer Wife, actually, because we just watched this film together. I actually posted a bit of a thing about it on the Discord. I think Ben has seen it as well, and it was definitely an interesting film, I gotta say. So let's see.
I think that's the adjective I used initially too. Was interesting, and then I gave my little bit more expanded thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I've got to say I agreed like to the T with literally everything you said. I was like, I couldn't say it any better. It was a little bit of a deepity, if you're familiar with that term that I use all the time here. Let's see. So I'm supposed to scroll down to the comment by Upbeat Professional, which gives me some more insight on the movie. So let's go down and see what we can find. So Upbeat Professional says, I think the main problem is that the main theme in the book was discarded completely, namely that of the parents who are not there at all for their children, both physically and mentally. The title of the book and the movie is one of Psalms, the one that starts, "O Father, why hast thou forsaken me?" This is also what Jesus said on the cross when he doubted his Father. I think that's needs a little bit of a correction, but I think it can be argued that a very big theme in the book is parents who are distant and not very good parents. This explains why no one in the book/movie ever calls their parent mother or father. It's always the old man, lady, or Rose. The book has lots of scenes about the parents of the different characters that have been omitted in the movie. And another thing, Phil's parents know he is gay. They're okay with it as long as he lives far away from them with his dimwit brother, who is also a disgrace to the family. Okay, so I think I'm getting the gist here. I'm just going to read the rest real quick. Yeah, okay, I get the gist here. So that's interesting. I knew this movie was based off of a book, but I didn't know whether it deviated a lot or not from the book, and apparently it does, according to this comment at least. I obviously can't verify it. But that's very interesting, and that makes, from a writing perspective, that makes 1,000 times more sense than the way the film is currently constructed. I mean, literally, that was the biggest insight. Like, this little description just made the story tons better.
While we were waiting to start the podcast, I was just reading all the comments on the thread, responding to this comment, and like, wow, that makes the book seem like it's way better than the film is.
Yes, I have to say that, like, from a thematic perspective, from a structural perspective, from basically an everything perspective, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, I actually caught a glimpse of this theme, because this entire film, I'm trying to think, what is this film trying to say? Because I feel like what it's trying to say is too simple, because, like, and I'm like, okay, what is the big thing here that makes this a movie that I should care about? Apparently all of Hollywood should care about. And, I caught a glimpse of it when I was just like, why are people just not good at parenting? I was like, one of the things I remarked to myself while I was watching, I was like, how did these people end up this way? Like, who are their parents? You know? But we never get to see really the adults. We don't get to see the adults as parents. And I just sort of get a glimpse of, like, you know, the, I guess, stepfather and widow. You know, we get a glimpse of that. And, you know, pretty much he's kind of absent the entire film post them getting married. And then the wife is kind of left alone to suffer. Also, I should have seen spoiler in the title of this thing and then been careful with spoiling the film, because I definitely spoiled the film by accident there.
Yeah, I don't think you've ruined anything that isn't like manifestly obvious after like 2 minutes, which is my other problem with the film. But
yeah, I would agree with you. I think this film is one big deepity. I think it would have been much more interesting. The entire time I'm screaming, I'm like, why can't we explore these characters more? Like, why can't we just have more of these characters? Like, why do we have to leave it at these very simple, you know, depictions of these people that we can't get anything more out of? Yeah, so I just have a big agree with this thing, and that is very insightful into why the book might actually be interesting, where the film was absolutely not interesting at all. It was quite boring. So
yeah, there's a lot of I would recommend reading like some more of the comments here, Irving, because they go into like the father is actually a character. The parents of the Phil and whatever and George are characters. The governor and his wife are actual characters. Like, these people who are like just kind of mentions, you know, or like actually important in the book, apparently.
Yeah, I did not get that from the movie. It seemed as though the movie was almost like all about like these very straightforward tones of, I guess, like bitterness and brokenness, but they're like one note bitterness, one note brokenness, one note people are bad. It's like, okay, people are bad. We know people are bad. So that is much more interesting than people are bad. And then, you know, with like I guess what's supposed to be a plot twist at the end, but the entire time I'm just thinking, okay, who's gonna die? You know? And then, you know, pretty much halfway through the film, not even halfway, like a third of the way through the film, it's very obvious who's gonna die. So it's like, the film is not very interesting.
We could talk about the music too. The music also just is like, and I'm not faulting the composer. I think the composer Johnny Greenwood did exactly what he was required to do, but the music also gives everything away, even though it tries to like not exist. Like, when it does exist, it is like, yeah, it's quite literally like everything in this film is in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and the film thinks it's so interesting for repeating the one shot at the beginning towards the end. I'm sorry. I'm tired of these films that just think they're so smart, but they're just like not interesting. It's like, okay. Well,
I don't know.
Repeated.
I was gonna say, I kind of got like this, like, we're trying to be kind of like Malick, sort of, you know, visually and like narratively, but we don't actually understand like what it is that makes Malick subtle, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, it's not just a lack of talking that makes Malick work.
Yeah. This film was just boring because of it. It was just like, okay, we're not talking, but there's no reason we're not talking. We're just not talking during this film. It's like, okay, well, oh yeah, and Steph is saying Benedict Cumberbatch's weird accent was so distracting. Benedict Cumberbatch cannot do a Montana accent. He just can't do it. It's just he sounded like he was struggling between like a typical American accent and then trying to force Western words into his speech. It was weird, for sure. And same thing with what's her name, Kirsten Dunst, I think. She kind of randomly dipped into like modern, almost California, like, you know, speaking here and there. I was like, what is going on? I would hope that the preparation for this film that's a timepiece would be a lot better, or if these people can't do it, then these people have been miscast. because these people can definitely act. So there's something wrong here. So there's that. Okay, next take. And that was, by the way, not a very good start to my Oscar binge. For sure. Not an exciting start. See what comes up next. All right. So who's this one from? With the confirmation that Chris Hemsworth has been casted as the lead villain in George Miller's Furiosa, it got me thinking about great against type castings. What are some of the best? So who's this?
That one is from me.
Okay. So let's see. They gave examples of Henry Fonda and
I have a
Once Upon
prediction of what you'll say as an example, but go ahead.
I actually don't know what I'm going to say as an example. Well, actually, there's a very famous example, which is.
I think we know what it is.
Oh, it's actually in here.
Oh, is it in there? I didn't notice that. What?
It's Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
There goes my big surprise. Ooh, I gotcha. It's just in there.
Yeah. So it says, this person mentions Heath Ledger. Yeah, that's a very classic example because prior to becoming the Joker, Heath Ledger was basically doing rom-coms. I saw him in the only other film I've seen him in is 10 Things I Hate About You. There you go. Which I wrote an article about. If you want to check it out on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn, I wrote an article about it, mostly about story structure and how the Shakespearean form is quite superior to the 3-act form, which I've talked about on the show many a time as well. Because 10 Things I Hate About You is based off of How to Tame the Shrew. Am I saying that right? I don't know. By Shakespeare.
The Taming of the Shrew.
The Taming of the Shrew. That's what it is. And Heath Ledger was quite good in that film. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like something that was demanding, something, timeless from him per se. But he was pretty charming in 10 Things I Hate About You. And then as the Joker, he's absolutely terrifying. So that was terrifying in a good way. So yeah, I guess that would be my de facto pick. Because let's see here. Against type castings. I feel like this would require me to really sit down and think about against type castings. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. No, I think I'd sit here and have to think for too long probably to figure out any more interesting examples. But I like when it happens. I like when actors take risks, and because what happens sometimes is actors will become themselves, the character is just them. Think about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, he's just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in every film, right? For him, it's much more on purpose, of course. That's what he's selling. He's selling Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But some actors can kind of more unintentionally enter that rut where they just become themselves in every film. Basically, and it's cool to see people act against type. When it fits, of course. Of course, they've got to actually fit the surprising type. So there's that. Steph says, it's funny Chris Hemsworth is doing this because Chris literally just did this in Knives Out, so it doesn't feel as original for Marvel heroes now playing villains. I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, Marvel heroes playing villains, yeah. I guess that is against type. We'll see. I don't know anything about the film, so I can't really comment about the film. Let's see the next one. All right, so this one must be from Ben, I gather.
Yes, appropriate given we're just talking about Heath Ledger and 10 Things I Hate About You.
You want to give us a summary?
Yeah, so this person basically says, why are there so few rom-coms and particularly good rom-coms coming out now? Person says basically, I'm not a big fan of rom-coms, but now that they basically aren't coming out and certainly not of any quality coming out, I realize that they fill an important part of the filmic universe, and that person misses them more than they realize they would ever miss them.
Yeah, so out of all the genres, I think I understand rom-coms the least in terms of, it's probably mostly a personal thing, but it's also probably because I don't seek out, excellent rom-coms as much as I probably should. So I should probably go, find things that, are sort of classics that are rom-coms and dive into them a little bit and see if I can understand the genre a little bit better and appreciate it better. But it's definitely pretty much the only genre I don't think I could ever direct because I don't really. It's like a weird combination to me. It's one thing if it's a romance where there's comedy in it, and it's another thing to make the primary, I guess, mode comedy, and then I don't know. It's not natural to me at least. So 10 Things I Hate About You is probably the only rom-com that I've watched that I've enjoyed. More than just okay, I'll probably forget this tomorrow. But that being said, I think that there's just kind of a lack of good comedy in general these days. I don't know. I haven't watched it. I haven't heard about anyone really talking about a comedy that they really, really loved. Maybe films that have a lot of comedy in them, but like a straight fun comedy. You know what I mean? I haven't come across that a lot recently. It's a little bit depressing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some like deep sociology going on here. I don't know. but I would suspect that rom-coms would be a somewhat evergreen of business, but I couldn't tell you why that's not happening now. But yeah, I would love if any of you guys have a suggestion for a rom-com that I should definitely watch and that I would enjoy, just let me know and I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's it for the hot takes in film this week. So if you have your own hot takes that you want to post about film, gaming, music, I don't know, pretty much anything media or art related, you can drop it in our Discord. Link is in the description. You can also email us, I guess, if you're, I don't know, you like snail mail of the new variety. You can email us, or you can check us out on all our platforms and drop a comment. We'll see it. I'll see it, I promise, with your hot take, and I'll react to it or respond to anything I have to say here, and I'll react to that as well. So for those of you who are not familiar, we film it all at once a week at 9:30 p.m. on Mondays, but it gets split into 3 different segments throughout the week that get edited down and released on our podcast platforms and on YouTube and Rumble, and that's pretty much it.